Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, guys. Today is March 27th, and as usual, we'll be going over analysis of US 30, gold, and EU. Um, so we are not currently in any trades right now, so we don't trade 5 minutes after market open. We really don't trade before New York open unless I just leave that to the discretion of the members. But personally, I do not. And if I do, I use lower risk. So today also, today is the first day that we've begun streaming live on YouTube. And also today is the first day that we'll begin recording our daily returns. So if you're in the Discord, there's this channel called Track Our Returns. And if you open, you'll find a Google Sheet that has ideally, so we're in 2023. So today we'll be starting, this is what the last week of March. So today we'll start here on Monday and record the returns. So this is just for, so this, everybody has access to this. It's as a view only, with a view only permission. So this way we can track our trades. The trades that we'll track here are the trades that I call during the live session and any pending orders that I send out after the live session or even when we're not in the live session. But we do have this signals channel that I started yesterday that's based on the indicators that I had created based on some of our strategies, and I'll go over those indicators today. So this whole week, everybody will get a free trial for them. And I did say last week, since to manage some of these things, I've had to, for example, upgrade to TradingView Premium. I've had to pay my coder to come up with some of these signals. But if you backtest them, you'll see that they're highly profitable. And I'll definitely go over some of them and go over why you shouldn't just enter like when you get the signal, like you need to wait for confluences. So I'll save that at towards the very end of the session. Again, we go live 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are live for an hour and a half. So again, this is what we want to see. We want to see price rejecting from this supply zone. So let's start. So ideally, personally, I prefer trading US 30, but we go over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. And during the live session, if anybody has a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. So right now, US 30 on the higher time frame. So the chart to my right is on the 5 minute. I always trade on the 5 minute. Sometimes I drop to the 1 minute when I'm looking to get a quick entry based on the 5 minute. So on the hourly, we have a golden cross that formed here. So price is both above the 200 EMA and the 9 EMA. So right here, we normally use the 200 EMA, the 9 EMA, and then we have those other two indicators, the GA Trading Club High Low Plus Trend and GA Trading Club 3-level semaphore indicator that I give everybody access to it. So if you filled in that form, that Google form by this morning, you should have gotten it. So hourly, US 30 is bullish. Remember, for me, higher time frame, I expect US 30 to go down to the 29,000 area. So daily, we are still above the 9 EMA. 4 hours, we are still above the 9 EMA. Hourly, okay, so you can see the hourly chart. So what we need to look for here, and just ignore this sell and buys unless you know how to use them. Actually, in that one indicators, there's an option to take out the buy and sell signals. Personally, I do that because I just want to. We've had a lot of wins without even using any of these indicators. So these indicators, again, they're not the holy grail. What matters is for you to learn how to trade. Okay, so we can see US 30 on the hourly is testing this structure right here, this higher high that it broke. But I do expect US 30 to come down and test the 9 EMA on the hourly. So the 9 EMA is around 32,399. US 30 is rejecting from just close below the 9 EMA, rejecting from this sell zone. So technically right here, we can have a sell. So what we need to do again, if we miss a trade, that is fine, but we also always need to follow our confluences. So let's see, I do see a sell on US 30. So ideally wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. So remember, our entries are either retest of the 9 EMA, retest of structure, which is right now. But for me, I'm looking for a good entry that, and keep in mind here, we also don't have a trend line. So just let it come back up. We might need a bigger stop loss for this. And remember, if your stop loss gets hit, let it get hit. Do not extend your stop loss. For this particular trade, I would be risking 0.25%. Remember, you only need 0.5%, and we need confirmation. You only need 0.5% a day to pass phase 1 of any challenge in 2.5 weeks. So right here, we do not rush. We always wait for confluences. So right, we always want to see where can US30 go. So we're in this sell zone, but right now I just tapped this sell zone. So we want to go to the 1 minute. Again, we always want a trend line. So we start with a hanging trend line. Your trend line should always start from an established zone. So this is an established structure because we have a higher high. So if this trend line is to hold to the downside, we expect this to be established as a, okay, so let it keep going. So this would have been a hanging trend line, but because this potential lower high has been broken, we then need to wait for this high of this candle. But because we're in a sell zone, personally, I will, like here, I can risk this 50 pips. So what I'll do, I will get into a sell for US30, cash amount. See, so I'm only risking 0.25%. This is what I'll be counting. 50 pips stop loss, 50 pips take profit. But keep in mind, the reason I'm going for a low risk, because ideally my risk is normally what is that, 0.5%. US30 can come back up here and look at all these supply zones up here. So it is possible for US30 to break these supply zones and come back to the downside. So make sure if you're in that trade to use proper risk management. So remember, this trend line is still a hanging trend line. So what we'll do now, since this is the highest candle in the 1 minute, we'll just leave the hanging trend line around that zone. So we trade on the 5 minute. So I'll go back on the 5 minute. I need this trend line to hold on the 5 minute, and I'm looking for this areas. So if you go back to the 5 minute, you'll notice that this zone has not been established as a higher high, but it's established as a higher high on the 1 minute. So that's why we entered, or we drew that trend line the way it is. And I personally draw my trend lines on MT4, and I do not delete them. That's what I encourage you guys to do. If you want to draw them on TradingView, well and good, but I just don't like a lot of diagonal lines on my TradingView. Keep in mind that we have all these horizontal lines, these bullish and bearish markups that we have. So today might be one of those. So you can see where price is at right now. We do not have any bullish or bearish markups for US30 today. So we can get a lot of fake outs today for US30. Let's see, gold. So we're not in this trade. I was just giving an example of how you can set a pending order in these zones. So this trade would have been up. EU price is away from any of our markups. So the only, even gold. So ideally, every asset today is away from all our bullish and bearish markups. So we definitely have to be careful today. It is also Monday. So use proper risk management. And I do see on my MT4 there trend lines to the upside that are keeping US30 down. So that would be also another confluence for me. Yeah, so right now it's a waiting game, 0.25% risk. So for me on a 200K account, if I lose this trade, I would only lose 200 and no, 500 bucks. So that is nothing big on a 200K. Oh, maybe no, I did 0.25, yeah, 0.25%, yeah, 500 bucks, yeah. So that's nothing on a 200K account. So since this high has been broken, we want to go back on the 1 minute. So keep in mind that the trend line is always hanging until you get a second point that has been confirmed. So this trend line is possible that, right? It's possible that this will be the next So this is a lagging indicator. So we are just anticipating where the next lower high will be if a sell is to hold. So that's what I mean by a hanging indicator. So the question for if I give signals, so this is why I have an issue with signal with using the term signal. So I did start a signal page. The thing is, you have to know, I tried to code this in order for it to break a line. Okay, that's fine. I'll deal with that later. For signals, you have to know when to enter a trade, right? So for example, if we go to this EU signal that was sent, and I think that trade just hit full TP. So we had a signal sent. I think the buy was down here, 60. So let's try and see. For that trade, I just leave my trades. Whatever happens, happens. That trade made sense to me, and I'm not over leveraging. So most of the times when you feel afraid of a trade, it ideally means you're over leveraging. So for this particular buy, it was fired around this zone. So this is the issue I have with some of this, even my own signals, right? So for my signal, when we get a signal for a buy here, ideally people would enter right after the close of that candle, because like this EU signal came up, 15 euro USD buy on the 15-minute time frame, 20 pips stop loss, 20 pips take profit. Now that is an okay signal, but how then you use these signals, you should read it that, okay, euro USD is probably going to buy on the 15-minute time frame. So based on, right, our strategies are, the entry is either based on the retest of the 9 EMA, retest of structure, or retest of structure, retest of 9 EMA, or retest of the trend line. So if you got that signal right here, what you do, it came on the 15-minute time frame. So you drop down on the 5-minute. That is why we trade from. Or if you want to trade on the 15-minute still, let's see where it came up at. Okay, so it came up around here. Actually, my bad. It wouldn't have hit profit yet. So this would have been it. If you're entering on impulse, 20 pips stop loss, 20 pips take profit. So you can see that price would have come into drawdown first, right? But what do our strategists tell us? Our strategists tell us, and especially with this particular strategy, you need to wait for the retest at the very least of the 9 EMA. So if you got that signal right here, price retested the 9 EMA there, you enter. If price closes above the 9 EMA, or if you want to enter on impulse, so you could either have entered this trade here based on the entry strategy for this particular signal. So the entry strategy for all these signals that are coming in here, you need to wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. So at the very least, you don't have to wait for closure above or below. You can enter on the exact retest. Don't worry if it closes above or below. So right here, you could have entered here, no drawdown trade. You could have gone straight into profit. Again, if you entered on impulse, your trade could have been almost at profit, but depending on how you traded this, because it went up, our take profit is 20 pips, it went up like 19.5 pips. But if you waited for the confirmation, no drawdown, straight into profit. If you waited for another confirmation, is that retest of the 9 EMA and closure above, so you enter on this next candle, you get some drawdown on the next few candles, but price goes straight to take profit. So that's why if you see the results I posted yesterday, like yesterday I entered an EU sell and an EU buy. So some of the signals that came up here for, like, for example, this one, I think no, not that. There's some trades, I think one of, no, not the gold one. Yeah, this EU sell, yeah, this EU sell trade, this alert for EU sell on the 15-minute. So it went into profit for 6 pips and then reversed and hit stop loss for minus 20 pips. But you know what happened? It just faked out, hit stop loss because it was a sell. So it hit stop loss to the upside and then came back down and hit take profit. So that's why I've started. So for the EU trades, you see that right now I'm only giving. So the EU trades from yesterday, I think they were on the 5-minute. Oh no, it's 15-minute. So the trades that we'll be getting for EU right now will be 15-minute, and the take profit and stop loss will be 50 pips and 50 pips. So 20 pips on a 15-minute candle can be taken out too quickly. So the take profit and stop loss for all the trades that I give, or the signals that are coming into the signals page will be 50 pips take profit, 50 pips stop loss. And last week I did say that I trust the EU and gold signals more on the 15-minute time frame. On US30, I trust the signals more on the 5-minute time frame. So for US30, we had a win here, we had a win here. I don't know, let me see for US30 right now. So price is still trending up, so let price just do whatever it wants to do. So if we go back and let me see where those signals are. Oh, I turned them off. Yeah, so even while trading live, I really don't want to see buy and sell, because I really want to rely on myself. So this is one, right? For US30, hit take profit for 50 pips easily. This is on the 5-minute time frame. This 5-minute sell, so it did align with our overall confluence for a sell, but this one would have hit stop loss for 50 pips if you did enter on impulse, which was down here. So this is the importance of waiting for confluences to align for you to enter some of those trades. So if you did enter that sell signal here, you'd have hit stop loss. Now, if you'd have waited for retest of the candle of the 9 EMA right here, you'd have just hit stop loss. So, but for us, we knew there was a sell zone above this zone, so that's why we are still in that trade. So currently the trade is going against us. US30 is turning to bullish. Gold is bearish. EU for me is bullish, but we're still in that trade. So remember what I've always said, I always look at structure. So US30, we completed structure to the bottom. So we had this move to the upside, and then price came back and completed structure to the bottom. So if you can see here, we have also this move to the upside. We need to complete this structure to the downside. It doesn't have to happen, but based on previous analysis that we've even done on the live session, that nearly almost always happens. Now, we do have structure to the upside that's also possibly being created. And when I say structure, think of it as M patterns. And actually right now I'm actually missing some trades, because for those of you, I don't know if Livy is in here. So when I say do not delete your trend lines, like on MT4, I have some trend lines to the downside that I could have entered a sell in. And also I think we did that on gold on Friday. But anyway,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I knew you. Did you catch a sell to the bottom from a trend line?
Nah, late start today.
Okay.
Actually.
All right, no worries. So when I say structure, so for example, think of it as M and W patterns, right? So by M pattern here, I mean this was an upside move, retracement to the downside, back to the upside, and then back to the downside. W pattern, right? Move to the downside, back up, move to the downside again, and back up. So if we are to complete, and these structures, I normally just observe them on the hourly. So if we are to complete hourly structure on US30, it is possible to come back up to 33,517, but for me, I'm still looking for US30 to go to 29,000 area, and it should be back in profit if you're in that trade. That's why when I tell you guys, no need to panic or anything. But so here's what we'll see, right? If I go to the 1 minute, I can assure you there's a lower high somewhere. No, not yet. Okay, there it is. So then we do this trend line this way. That trend line now is established on the 1 minute. Now that is perfect. Our stop loss is literally above that trend line. And look at where now price is back to a sell zone. So in any case, there's possibility to scale in for a sell, but personally, I am not going to do that. It's a Monday, so I'm being careful today. So now we're now expecting this trend line to hold even on the 5 minute. So we'll just leave that trade to keep running. So going back to analysis, so these are areas that US30 can catch a sell and then reverse all the way to the downside. Now, if we do close below the 9 EMA on the hourly, I do expect US30 to drop heavily. So right now, US30 is just being held up by this 9 EMA, but we are in a supply zone within a supply zone. So and this supply zone is high time frame. So these supply zones, I draw them from the weekly down to, I believe, the 30-minute. So even though it was a 30-minute supply zone within a supply zone, it overrides the 9 EMA on the 5-minute, because for me, any high time frame zones always override, well, mostly always override lower time frame markups or entries. Gold, we didn't take this gold. I was just marking up how you could have entered a buy up here. But you can see, so gold, if you guys, or for those of you who didn't attend the live session on Monday, we caught this gold sell at the very top. So we had a gold sell here. Our gold sell on Monday was where? Around here, I think. No, that's a buy. Our gold sell was here. That was an amazing trade. Our gold sell was here, around here, for 50 pips, take profit. I think the stop loss, we had gone higher for 80 pips because we had these sell zones up there. No, maybe it wasn't even there. No, it was at the start. It was at what? Let me go back to the Discord and see, because it was at the very top of that zone. So our sell was around 1994. Yeah, so these were the trades, 1994 and 1996. So if we go back, yeah. So we caught the high of that sell. So I'm not really looking at that trade. For me, I told you guys, and you can see we are in a heavy. Let me get rid of the markups. So 1994 was here. We entered a sell here. If we had a 50 pip stop loss, we literally could have gotten faked out, but there was like a trend line here. But if we had a 50 pip stop loss, we could have gotten faked out and price would have just retraced to the downside. But because we had some sell areas up here, that's why I said to switch your take profit to 80 pips. So our take profit was somewhere above here. And then because we had a trend line to the downside, we scaled in with a bigger lot size. So personally, I was in here down for like a 5-lot sell. And then when price tested the trend line right here, I entered with a 10-lot, right? So the idea behind this was we had price just bouncing around too much. And then we just personally, I wanted to get out because it was Friday. But if I'd held this sell with a 10-lot from 1996, right? Even though I was going for the common 50 pip take profit, I could have been straight into profit, and you can do 10 lots by 50 pips on gold. You see how much that is. Yeah, so we did catch that sell on gold previously. So gold, if you look, so gold is another perfect, and I don't like this too many markups here. Gold is a perfect example of how to visualize structure. So here you can see, oh, I think we almost see take profit on US30. Yeah, full TP. Mine, because of slippage, of course, I did not. I just missed take profit by like 1 or 2 pips. I don't know if any of you guys caught full take profit on this trade, but it did hit full TP right here. I'm still in the trade because of slippage. I got my TP did not hit. So gold, perfect example of structure, right? Like some of these things, I just noticed them automatically, right? So let's do this, right? Gold. When gold was here, no, that's a trend line. I don't want that. When gold was here, it created a head and shoulders, and we were on the live session when this head and shoulders was being created. So this is what gold did. I still remember that day today. So this was during the live session. I analyzed left shoulder, head, possible right shoulder, and drop to the downside. Guess what? So EU on the hourly, we possibly have a buy. Excuse me. So we got a buy from this bottom and rode it for like 50 pips. I think that trade hit take profit instantly. Created a right shoulder, gave a sell entry. This was after the live session. Personally, I did enter a sell. You enter a sell here, and you see if you're using this indicator of hours, I'll go over the indicators as close to the end of the session. But you can see, like, even for this one, if you're waiting for the head and shoulders to be created, even on the hourly, you get a sell candle. You just enter your sell. But personally, I found a sell entry here because I remember we did have a supply zone within a supply zone right there, right? Head and shoulders completes that head and shoulder pattern because it started right here. So again, this is a pattern. I can see the pattern here. Pattern created a W right here, went back up, right? So right now, price has created an M pattern, or was creating an M pattern right there. So this ideally would be kind of like a double top. And then guess what? Where is price likely to head? You can see we have demand zones down here. So price is likely to come down for EU around this zone. And guess what's down there? Oh, my bad, this is gold. Guess what's down there? Hourly bullish high, 30-minute bullish high, 30-minute bullish low, 4-hour bullish. So when gold comes down here to the 1942 to 1935 area, gold is gonna buy heavily, right? So this is possibly, we can set some pending orders lately for today, but this is so obvious, right? Pattern, move up, move down to complete structure. So I'm not expecting gold to go up anytime soon. I'm expecting gold to come down here to this zone, pick up liquidity and shoot all the way up. Now that's, you know, if you look at gold's hourly candle, to me, that is a perfect, let me just undo this lines. That is a perfect example of completion of structure. Does anybody have a question for completion of structure? I am out of that trade in profit, full TP on this trade. Again, we don't rush trades here. We just look for where price is likely to go. So you know, we were protected by a trend line on the 1 minute. So that's also why you can, ideally you start drawing your trend lines on the 1 minute if you're trading live. So full TP for 50 pips. I've been in other groups where US 30, they go for like 10 pips, take profit, or 20 pips. But for here, because you know, the analysis is good and we just wait for an optimal entry. So keep in mind what I said. If you had taken this sell here, got and stopped out. If you had taken this sell here, you'd have just gotten stopped out. So this is what would have happened to us with gold. So this is why sometimes, like this particular trade, if you're entering on the retest of the 9 EMA, you also need to consider where's the next structure. The next structure is this high. So in this case, instead of using 50 pips stop loss, add another 20 or 30 pips, go with the same percentage risk. So what you'd have done, you'd have just lowered your lot size, and guess what? You'd have survived this trade. And then what could have happened if price was to come back down, you could have entered or scaled in on the retest of the trend line. Or if price came back down to this sell zone, you just wait for a bearish candle in this supply zone, and then you just enter another sell here with a bigger lot size, and then you make ideally the same amount of money without getting stopped out. So first win of the week. I'm glad now that we're counting returns, at least we started the week off with a win. Does anybody have any question? Anybody who took that trade, you should be up for the week 0.25%. Does anybody have any question? No? Okay. Yeah, so 0.25%. If you guys saw, I took some trades based on the signal. So for me, I'm already up like 0.5% for the day. Still no rush.
In the signal, no, there are two things are there. One is buy, another is sell. What is that? Why two are there?
What? Come again?
In the signal, you know,
In the
today's signal, there are two are there, buy and sell. What does that mean actually? Two things.
What, this one?
Yeah.
So what does what mean? What does buy and sell mean?
Oh, no, not that. But why two things you are given one after another? We have to do two things,
Yeah.
buy and
Nope, no. You're not, and that's why I don't like trading with signals. So here, signals for me, I use my signals as a confluence. I do not buy and sell blindly just because my AI tells me to sell. Now, I have an account that's copying each of this. Actually, I don't think I've started using that. But I'm starting an account that's going to copy each and every one of these signals just for me to see how they work. But so if you get a sell and a buy here, Let me see why we got a sell and a buy. Actually, that's a good question because I didn't see any buy. No, buys from this one. So also look at the time of the market, right? We got a strong red candle and then we had a strong bullish candle. This is 9:30. This is around New York Open or after New York Open. So before, I don't know if it's before or after, but ideally this is around when we started trading. So during especially New York Open, you'll get a lot of manipulation. So if we go on the 1 minute candle or on the 1 minute time frame, you'll see some heavy movements here, right? A big 1 minute candle that is 525 to 475. This is a 50 pip candle. So you'll get a lot of manipulation before New York opens. Or around New York Open because that's when ideally it's a Monday, so a lot of orders are just now coming into the market, and also they want to fake people out before the big move. And for me, I'm still expecting US 30 to drop. And look here, we have a sell within a sell. Now, if you follow the signals blindly, if you took this, let's see what would have happened. If you took this sell blindly, stopped out. If you took this buy blindly, you'd have only made 493. You'd have only made 30 pips. If you didn't secure, guess what? Stopped out. So when you get these signals, and that's why I still, even for me to create these signals for you guys, it was against my own judgment because I don't want to be responsible for people blowing their accounts just blindly following. But if you get a buy signal and it's going to tell you it's US 30 sell on the 5 minute, it's EU buy on the 15 minute. Go to the 15-minute time frame or go to the 5-minute time frame, whatever time frame is identified in the signal. Come here. Like for me personally, I would have ignored this buy. I'm not looking for buys on US 30 because number one, today is a risky day for us. Price is away from our bullish and bearish zones. This it doesn't happen often, but when it happens, what do we do as a club? We come here, we draw our trend lines, and then we find any supply and demand zones, and then we wait for entry, retest of the 9 EMA, retest of structure, or retest of trend line. Here we entered during the retest of structure because this was a supply zone within a supply zone. I was not going to look at any of these buys because for me, I'm not looking, nothing in here on my chart tells me to look for a buy. So yes, so that is how you interpret these signals. And you don't have to use my own strategies for entering or exiting. I'm pretty sure you guys have traded with other groups. I'm pretty sure you guys have some other confluences. So these signals are ideally just think of it as a weather report, right? Sometimes you get a weather report that it's going to snow tomorrow. So if it's going to snow tomorrow, what do, right? You start salting your sidewalk, you start looking for warm clothes. It doesn't always snow tomorrow. So if it doesn't happen, then that's fine. Sometimes you get it's going to snow tomorrow, it's going to rain tomorrow, it's going to be sunny tomorrow. What do? You look at what's more likely to happen. If for you think it's going to rain, then you prepare for rain. If you think it's going to be sunny instead, then you again prepare for sun. That is the simplest way I can tell you guys how to interpret these signals. Did I answer your question? Hopefully I did.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Gold again. So gold, you can see there's it's died. It's ideally pretty dead. I am expecting gold to come down. Now, if gold comes down to this zone, let's see if gold is completing any structure. Yep, it's completing this structure to the downside. So around 1940, around this zones, I'm expecting gold to spike up heavily. Now let's see what we can find. So what I'll do, I'll come here. I see a 4-hour bullish high. I need to find the low, the 4-hour bullish low. It's around here. Change this to green. So again, for me, I'm already up for the day. If you guys see any particular entries and you want me to look at them, let me know and I'll switch charts. But right now, I've already made my 1.5% for the day. We have a 4-hour bullish high and 4-hour bullish. No, we have an hourly bullish high. We have an hourly bullish low. So where is the hourly bullish low? It's right there. So ideally, we have a lot of high time, and this rarely happens. So for me, when gold comes here, the highest area is 1943.96. The lowest area is 1935. So let's call this this is only an 80. what is it? 80 pip zone? Yeah, 80 pip zone. So that's actually good for gold trading. So what we'll do, the first entry has already been taken out. Remember, we divide these zones into 3. So the first entry, and I know we haven't done filler trades in a minute, but it's because we have a lot of strategies that for you guys, I don't think you need me anymore to be identifying some of these zones. So for filler trades, we go for this can be 100 pip TP, 100 pip stop loss. Wait, is gold different? Unless they change this, give me 1 second. That's interesting. Okay. So 100 pips take profit, 100 pips stop loss, and you can see the stop loss is ideally behind the previous weekly low. So this is a previous weekly low. So in Monday's charts, just normally ignore weekly lows on my charts and previous daily highs, because remember, I only plot previous daily highs and lows on beginning Wednesday. So remember, every chart for me, every chart I have a previously weekly open, previous weekly high, previous weekly low, and then the current weekly open. I have a weekly open. I do not plot the current weekly high and low until Tuesday or Wednesday in order to give price some room to breathe. And then I always have Monday high, Monday low, and then I have Friday high and Friday low. The reason I have Monday high and Monday low is because on Monday and Friday, the price is normally subject to a lot of manipulation. So I want to know the highs and lows of those 2 particular dates. So we have this big zone, we divide it into 3. If you had a filler trade here, and you could have done this, again, I can't do everything for you guys. This you could have done when I sent the gold markups for our bullish high. Now here's the other part, right? If I send screenshots, they're not as you don't see what's below. So that's why when I sent that previous announcement in the group, like access to my charts, maybe starting next week, you can see everything that I'm seeing. So you could have probably seen all of this. Came here, set a filler trade. So we have this zone 1943.90. The bottom of that zone is 1935. I'll call it 1935.90 so that we have ideally an even number. So 80 pips. So divide by 2, that is 40. So half of this would be 1939.80. So that's where price is likely to come through. So I'll come here, divide the zone into 2, 1939.80. Now this trade, it will count for so right now I can go ahead and delete this for our bullish high, bullish low. I really don't need it since everything is together. This is perfect. I'll have this zone. So this is the next buy on gold around 1939.80. If you guys want to set that, feel free. 100 pips take profit, 100 pips stop loss. You can do 50-50 if you want, but just keep risk at the same level. I'll let you know what to risk. And then the last trade, the last pending order will be at, if you're on the live session, you can set this if you want. If not, I'll send them after the live session. So again, but for this last trade, I don't need 1,000 pip or 100 pip take stop loss. So for this one, maybe I can do 50 pips stop loss. So ideally here, or just stop loss below this demand zone down here. So 1935. So this would be an 80 pip stop loss. Okay. So the first pending, so remember how we deal with these zones in the past, right? What you want to see price coming to your, so this is this order you would have gotten filled to the pip, and then you'd have been in profit immediately, right? For about 50 pips. So the way we deal with these trades when we break them into 3, right? This 3 pending order trades. The first trade, you want to see your trade getting filled in. Make sure to mute yourselves when you get in. The first trade, give me 1 second. When the first trade gets filled in, you want to see price fill you in. doesn't go heavily against you, right? So we'll cover what you do when price goes heavily against you, right? So you want to see price come, fill you in, go straight into profit, right? So for this trade, you could have, since it's a filler trade, so a filler trade, you shouldn't risk anything more than 0.12 or anything more than 0.25% of your account value. So that's what you want to see. Now, if price comes back down, and I know price will come back down, and unfortunately, we don't have any sales to take for gold currently, so that's the only issue with that. But price is going to come back down to this demand zone. So if price comes back down to this demand zone, you do not enter on the first entry, right? Because the first entry again was tested and gave you profit. The next buy you get in on gold is in the middle of the zone that we drew. So the next buy on gold, that's why it's at around 1939.80, 1939.50, whatever you want to call it. That's the next entry on gold. What you want to see when price comes down here, price that either taps you in and goes straight into profit, or if it bounces around this zone, doesn't keep going straight down, then you want to go straight into profit. The third trade, what you want to see is price, you're not going to enter here, you're not going to enter here. The third trade, if these two trades work out the way I just talked about, you want to see price come here, tap you in, and then go straight up. So what would have happened here if you had this, maybe this, let's just assume this was before the live session. And then we had this three pending orders set up, right? So if price had come here and kept going heavily trending against us, we delete this order and we delete this order. We just now shift them to the downside. So this particular trade, we could have shifted to where the third trade is. So we would have deleted the pending order here, shifted it to the bottom of that zone, right? So we would have only, instead of having 3 trades, we would have only had 2 trades, right? Because the last one would have just kicked it out. Or what you could do, delete this order, make another order, pending order in between this zone and this zone. So maybe drop this second pending order to the middle somewhere here, and then leave this third one somewhere here. And then observe what happens when price reaches around this area. When price reaches around this area and you see some sort of reversal, which means that you might not get tapped in the middle here. If you get confirmation, now that's where we need to wait for price to close above, because if price comes down heavily against us this way, it means that price will stay below the 9 EMA on the 5-minute. So if price comes down here and you deleted this order and shifted it either down here or in the middle here, if you see some good rejection and signs of reversal around here, you just wait for price to close above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute, retest the 9 EMA and close above. And that is it. And this week I'll definitely put videos up on how to do these strategies and how to enter, because we might be wasting some time and trades when I try to go over them. And for me, when I go over something, I'm so thorough about it. Like I don't just half asset. So but I'll definitely record videos of those strategies so that if somebody has a question about them, I can just tell you, go and watch this particular video. But right now, I just see a lot of ranging. Today, I told you guys for all of, so we're not in this trade. So if price comes down, do not enter gold here. At the very least, excuse me, enter gold at around 1940 to 1939.50. But this is just an example of how this trade could have been immediately into profit, like just easily. So US 30, we're getting another sell. So here, let's see what's going on, right? Again, I do not like trading with signals. Like that is, because sometimes I just second guess myself and then start looking for trades that are that aren't there. So what we're expecting here, we need another lower high to be established on the 5-minute. We already have a lower high, so let's see how the trend line is holding on the 1-minute. So far it's holding, right? But if this trend line is gonna hold on the 1-minute and on the 5-minute, we need this trend line to be retested at some point. And guess what, right? It's likely to be retested around this supply zone again. So we have a possible sell on US 30 on the 1-minute and on the 5-minute. However, if we get a sell here, I wouldn't take the sell yet. I would wait for price to come back up, and then we would get an optimal entry we would get an optimal entry, and I'll actually turn off some of those alerts during the live session. So an optimal sell entry on US30 would be somewhere around here on the retest of this trend line. Oh no, this is 50. 50, there you go. All right, sometimes we're able to ride price back up because I definitely see price coming up, but we don't have any buy confirmations unless we get a bullish hammer candle, which we're not getting anytime soon. That's the only time I would enter a buy for US30 to ride price to the trend line. But right now, personally, if I wanted to trade US30 right now, I can easily trade it for a sell because I do have trend lines on my MT4. For you guys, there is this indicator trend line. No, not the Lonesome Pro. Trend lines V2 maybe. I don't know. It's sort of similar to how I draw trend lines, but I just don't like charts on my. No, I don't like trend lines on my trading view. Let me show you. I forget which one it is. I know it has like 5,000 view, 5,000 downloads. But learn how to draw trend lines by yourself, and then draw them on MT4 and never delete them. And I think I've shown you guys, if you draw it, if you use this indicator, change the left bars to 10, change the right bars to 10. And then you'll see some trend lines on your chart. Now, they're not as many as what I have on my chart, but you can use this. So I literally have exactly this same trend line on my MT4, which I drew a while back, and you can see it's getting tested. Now, if we do get a closure below, it might be a sell, but it will be a sell. But for me, I always look at the most probable sells, because if I do enter a sell here, you can see my stop loss is around the trend line. So, and I'm expecting price to come back and grab liquidity. So if I do enter a sell here, I would have to double my stop loss or 1.5 times it. So let's see how price will close here.
Which indicator is that again?
It is this one. So if you search trend space line, it's this one, the one that has 5,261 downloads.
Okay.
And then the settings. So if you're trading US30 or I guess other volatile assets, because the default settings for it are left bars 30 and right bars 30. So if you have it at right bars, left and right bars at 30, you're not going to see the trend line. So just lower that number. So for me, I've put 10. And then like the show old, you can either choose to see old dashed lines as, or old trend lines as dashed lines. Yeah, but that's that trend line. But honestly, it doesn't beat drawing your own trend lines. I think I've shown you guys a copy of my MT4. I'll do that again because price is still coming back up. So I need to wait for that candle to close to look for any entries. But I'll go ahead and again show you guys this stop share screen snipping tool, right? So this is how my MT4 look for EU gold and US30. So look at this particular trend line. The one that's holding, it came from here, right? So it's the same one that's being shown on TradingView. So it's here, it's holding here. This is where when I was asking Levy if he took sells. So when we had entered a sell on US30, price came all the way back here. So personally, I can trade trend lines without even using any of my strategies. So I could have scaled in on a big sell here. Guess what? Price comes all the way down. Some trend lines. So look at this trend line. It's coming from, I don't know when I drew some of these things, but they're holding even weeks after, right? Price is still reacting from these zones. So this is what I mean. Draw them on your MT4 and do not delete them. Again, you're not going to see all of them like this because I just zoomed out in order to show you like all the trend lines, or almost all the trend lines I have. But since I trade when the chart is zoomed in on my MT4, normally this is the only zone I see right here. So I normally only see this zone. So I don't see all of this right here. So that is the importance. I cannot stress using trend lines enough. And as I told you guys, I can literally trade with trend lines even without using my strategies. Like it's so
Yeah,
easy.
I just confirmed your sell with one of my trend lines I had for the US 30. So it's in profit now.
There you go. See, yeah, and you don't have to wait for me. Like keep in mind, for me, the only let me share this back. The only trades I'm counting are, or I'm taking, I'm just looking to make 0.5% a day. You can make, oh yeah, that was a sell right there. There we go. We got a sell. We got a closure below that trend line. Let me see a possible entry. So a possible entry would be a retest of it. I'll just wait for price to come either here. So I'll wait for price to retest the 9 EMA. For this one, stop loss for me would be above the major trend line that's keeping price down. So stop loss for me on this one will be about 80 pips. Let's see. If price goes away, then it goes away. But you can see like people like Livia already making money. So keep in mind, for me, I've already made my daily target, so I really don't have to keep trading. So it's upon you guys to use my analysis and to enter trades by yourselves. 60, I'll do a 70 pip stop loss. So I'll just keep waiting. If price goes away, then it goes away. We already had a winning trade. So nothing on gold, nothing on EU. So EU is about, oh, this is 15-minute time frame. I don't trade that. I still see EU. I still see EU coming back up. Okay, let's see if we can catch one more trade. If I do enter this trade, I'll enter with a 0.5 risk. I'll risk 0.5% of my account. Because we are already up 0.25%. So, and some of these things, if a trade makes sense to you, get into the trade. Do not question yourself. Because as traders, I've realized like a lot of people just pay more attention to, oh, what if it hits stop loss, right? Because last week I had in another group that we are in, somebody asked me, what happens if a trade goes against you? I'm like, that's not a question a trader should be asking, because you'll always have a trade that goes against you. Any trader that tells you they have 100% win rate or they've never blown an account, then that's more than likely untrue. So if a trade goes against you, let it go against you, so long as the trade made sense for you to enter. That is what matters. Now, if a trade goes against you and it was because of FOMO, or you just felt like you wanted to make money, now then that should be a lesson to you that, oh, next time, let me wait for my own confluence. So here I'm waiting for the retest of the 9 EMA, which is going to coincide with the high of this supply zone within a supply zone. So currently I am still waiting. So gold is bullish. US 30 is bearish, so that's good for a sell. So we just need some good sell. But keep in mind, US 30 can break above this trend line, come into this trend line, which also aligns with a bigger supply zone. So that's why I'm saying you need your stop loss above this trend line up there. Let me start preparing. I'm using this trade manager that I know Dean recommended. Is this InvestSoft? It's only like $100. Again, I don't own it, but I just, instead of just being out here dragging your lines or your take profit and stop loss manually, it does pretty much everything for you. Let me see if I can find a screenshot of it. So this is how it looks. You can move stop loss to break even like easily. Wait, where is it? Yeah, this is it. So it has like risk calculation. You can set your take profit and stop levels based on pips. Where's the other BE one? Forex indicators, or maybe it's tools. Yeah, but this is the one right here. It's only $99. That's the one I'm using to manage my trades. So for me, stop loss will be 80 pips. Risk is 0.5%.
So is it automatically gives the order also or sell?
I'm sorry.
From TradeView, you can directly issue orders to MT4
Y-
using this tool.
No, because I'm entering on my MT4. So this indicate it's more of an EA. So you install it on your MT4 chart. So
Okay.
so I have my MT4 chart on my right, to the right of my screen, and then I don't know if this trade is gonna come back up, but Livy, I know you just scored like some good cash right there, but it's fine. We'll catch the next one. Let's see. So we are expecting gold to come back down. We don't have any sell area for gold. Unfortunately, we do not. So let gold just do whatever it wants to do. So the only ideally trades that we have are for US 30. So let's see where US 30 is likely to go. Okay, this is what we need to watch, right? We need to watch the hourly candle. So if this hourly candle closes under the 9 EMA, below the 9 EMA, so what we need is, this is tricky. This is actually tricky. Yeah, that would be a risky trade. Ideally, another sell here, it's either you can wait for this hourly candle to close below the 9 EMA and then wait for the retest for a 5-minute candle to retest the 9 EMA on the hourly and then close below and then enter a sell. The other thing we can do, so remember we expected the 9 EMA to be retested and price to shoot back up. Guess what? This one candle, I think before the live session started, I marked up the 9 EMA on the hourly as 32,399. Yeah, so it just got missed by a pip. But price came to 32,400 and shot all the way up. So this is when price was testing the 9 EMA on the hourly. So we got that strong push above. So ideally, if we get a 5-minute candle closing below this zone, it would be a sell on another sell on US 30. I'm looking for, yes, it would be a sell, because I do see some momentum to the downside. So instead of, it will be a very risky trade. Again, keep in mind where US 30 can go. So actually for me, this trade, I don't feel comfortable doing 70 pips. Let me go for 100 pips. Again, for this trade, still risking 0.5%.
I got a trend line there too. So if it close under, that's gonna be a go for me.
Yeah. Yeah, but we need this 5-minute candle to close exactly where it is right now, because this candle can reverse all the way up. And guess what? I see a death cross forming in future on the 5-minute, because we have the 9 EMA headed to the 200 EMA. So the if 9 EMA crosses the 200 EMA to the downside, that is called a death cross, and that normally means we are in a sell. So for me, I need this candle to close, this 5-minute candle, and then we can write, ideally here, we can ride price down to the 200 EMA. So for me, if price gets to the 200 EMA, I am getting out of this position. But I'm using a much larger stop loss because price can still come all the way back up. So keep in mind, this candle can close as a bullish hammer candle. So that's the risk about this, but I'm liking the movement right now. I just need this candle to close. Maybe there entries on the, I really honestly I don't want to force anything. For me, my confluence is the 5-minute. You can find confluence on the 1-minute definitely, but because this particular candle can close, even this 5-minute candle, it can reverse all the way back up and close as a bullish candle. And right now there is a trend line on my chart. It's honestly, is it worth it? No, it's not. I wanted to write price back up. I do see price retracing back up before the closure of this candle. So when this candle closes, I need price to retest the 9 EMA on the hourly for me to enter. So for this one, let's see. All right, so it's closing. That's perfect. I need a retest. If I get just a retest, and I will hop in on impulse for that, because this is going to be a quick move. And there we go. Better yet, you can even see it better. And look at that. On the 1 minute, it's exactly the 9 EMA. So I just need a retest of it. If you, since this is 100 pip stop loss, you can afford to maybe enter early. Sure, feel free. But for me, I'm waiting for confirmation. Again, remember, for me, I'm only taking trades that count for what we are doing. Like the count during when I record them as returns or profits or losses. So you can definitely enter early, but I am waiting for a retest. And yeah, if we do get that, I see US 30 dropping heavy. There you go. So for this trade, again, risking only 0.5%. Okay, so I entered that trade. Now we do have, there is I come back to the 5 minutes, because trading on the 1 minute can definitely give you high blood pressure. But anyway, there is a trend line to the upside holding. I'm basing it off of what I have on my MT4. There's a trend line to the upside. So that's what I wanted to write price up as. There's a trend line that's literally holding price up on the 5 minute. So let's see how this trade goes. Best case, there's a lot of trend lines that's holding or that should hold price down. So 0.5% risk, 100 pip stop loss, 100 pip take profit. You don't have to do those lot sizes or those stop losses. Just make sure you're just managing your risk properly. Let's see. So nothing for gold. I'll send, if you're on the live session, you should have gotten these areas for the pending buys on gold. If you haven't gotten them, I'll send them after the live session. So right now I can go over the indicators. Okay, so the indicators that we have is two, or the ones for this particular group, the ones that I shared with everybody, if you did fill in that form for the indicators. So I'll just turn this one off for now. I will turn off the trend lines for now. So the first one is the 3-level semaphore indicator. So this indicator is based on, if I turn it on, see if it has any buy and sell signals. So this also has signals, right? It has a sell up there. It has a buy down here, sell here, sell there. For me, I like the new one better, but this one also works, but this is how to use the new one, right? So the new one is based off on it breaks down buy and sell areas into 3 zones. So there's level 3, level 2, and level 1. Level 3 is a most probable buy and sell. Level 2 is a likely or let me put it, high sell. Okay, level 3 high sell area. High buy, high sell area. Level 2 medium buy, medium sell area. Level 1 just sell or buy area. Now you either have either of these combinations. A 3-2-1 level. So a 3-2-1 level is that it's highly probable, it's probable, and it's highly probable, medium probable. I'm just looking for some 3 words that denote that. But 3-2-1, that is a heavy sell or heavy buy area. 3-2 is a heavy sell, heavy buy, and also a likely buy or likely sell. 3-1 is a heavy buy and just a heavy buy or heavy sell, or combined with likely or just a buy and sell. Level 3 is level 3 by itself, again, heavy buy or heavy sell. Level 2 by itself is again likely buy or likely sell. Now you can see on this particular, for me, I turned off level 2 by itself and level 2 and 1 by themselves. We do have this candle opened up with a gap, so keep in mind we do have some buyers here, because you can see this gap. We had a gap up on US 30, so the trade is currently in profit, but we have a gap up, so keep in mind we do have buyers there. But anyway, you can have all three. So all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can have all 6, but for me, based on a lot of back testing, I found like level 2s by themselves and level 2s and 1s by themselves, they are not that probable. Okay, under signal trend, we do have filters. So you can either have no filter, you can filter by super trend, you can filter by moving average, you can filter by super trend and moving average. So what that does right now, we do not. So let me actually leave everything on. So this, let me select even the 2 and 1s and 2s. So right now, no filters applied and all the signals we're getting, right? So what we'll see, you'll see a lot of buy and sell signals, right? So what happens if I remove level 2, 1 and level 2? We'll probably have some disappear right here, right? So we had some of those disappear. Let's see if they could have been valid. You know, sometimes they're valid, other times they're invalid. So looks like here they were sort of valid depending on how large your take profit and stop loss was. The other settings in here, you have a squeeze. So if I filter by super trend, you'll see, right? You'll see some of these indicators disappear. So the sell signals disappear because here it was telling you we are in an uptrend. So you have a buy. Now, if you're looking for a buy, well and good. For me, any buys right here would have been short-lived, because for me, I'm looking for a sell on US 30. We do have a buy here. We have a sell here, but this sell could have hit stop loss and again, it's a 2-1 level. We have a buy here, 2-1 level, possibly some profit, but not too reliable. Let's see like a 3-2-1 level. So this is 3-2. You have a sell, but this US 30 was in consolidation. So nothing really there. So let's see if we filter by, if you want to filter by moving average, what filtering by moving average will do, it will give you a buy signal if price is above. So you have to come here to the moving average. So if you're using the EMA, the 9 EMA, you'd come here and do whatever EMA you're using or SMA you're using. So if you have that set and you have moving average set here, you would only get a buy if price is above the 90 or whatever EMA you're using, and get a sell only if price closes below that moving average. So let's see. So here we got a sell, or maybe I'm misinterpreting. 3, 2, 1. Give me 1 second. Moving average. So ideally this sell, because price closed above, this sell shouldn't be here. I mean, well and good, it could have worked out, but normally I think that's a bug, so I'll have to ask my coder about that. But normally you'd get a buy when price is above the 9 EMA and a sell, or whatever EMA you choose, and a sell when price is below that, unless I forgot how that works. Yeah, buy when price is above, sell, this one is above. So normally it should fire on this candle. That's fine. Yeah, this one, price is above, price is above, price is below. So this is another thing about signals, right? That's why I'm telling you, you need to also have a confluence. You need to be anticipating where something is headed. But that's how ideally the moving average is supposed to work. Super trend plus moving average. So for this one, it means that the signals are going to be filtered based on the super trend and the moving average. So, so if here the trend was a buy, you ideally need to get buys when price is above the 9 EMA or whatever EMA you chose. And you'd only get a sell when the trend is for a sell and price is below the moving average that you selected. Again, I don't use this indicator as much anymore, but it is beneficial. Now you have this squeeze filter. So squeeze filter is to remove signals where prices are just ranging or consolidating. So when I apply the squeeze filter, and you'll see, like, for example, if I show the squeeze areas right here, you'll see that price is squeezing right here. So no signals will apply or will show up. So we also have the same settings on this other indicator. So no signals will show up whenever price is squeezing or consolidating. So that's what the squeeze filter does. The ADX volatile filter is ideally zones where price is highly volatile. So here, if we want to show the ADX zones, let me turn off the squeeze area. So this, like right here, this volatile area is telling us that right here price is so volatile. So if you have that filter on, so let's see, our trade, no drawdown trade is currently up 40 pips. If only we had like a 50 pip, it's fine. But I'm holding it, it broke one of my trend lines. I am holding this trade. You can, however, we are coming into a bullish zone for 30-minute, 15-minute. So you can start securing. So for me, let me test out this trade manager EA. Let me try to close 50%. Oh, yep, I was able to close 50%. So I just secured 50% of this trade. So keep in mind, we are risking 0.5% for this trade. So I just closed 50%. So for that filter, the ADX or volatile filter, it's not going to give you signals. Same with the other indicator. It's not going to give you signals anywhere that you have volatility in price. Yeah, that's the only, these are the settings. You can set what you want your moving average type to be. If you want to show it on your chart, if you want to show the volatility or ADX, or if you want to show the super trend also, you can select. But for me, I don't want too many things on my chart, so I choose not to show them. Just because you're not showing them doesn't mean that they're not going to be filtered out. So I'll take this back to removing the 2 and 2 1, put back the squeeze filter. That's ideally what I use. And if you don't want to see the 3 2 1s or those numbers, you can go to the style tab and just uncheck all the numbers right here. Right, yeah. So if you don't want to see them on your chart, you can go in there and uncheck. I'll leave them unchecked. I'll leave them checked because for me, I don't use this indicator often. So here I'm looking, possibly US30 will retest the 9 EMA and drop, or come and retest. So keep in mind, we haven't retested this trend line to the upside. So US30 can definitely come up here. Personally, I secured 50% of this trade right here. So right now I'm only risking 0.25%. So let's go to the indicator that we have that's going with the trend. So right here, number one, you can filter out buy and sell signals. For me, I don't want to see those signals when I'm trading live because it can mess with my psyche. So however long you've been trading as a trader, you're still human. So we can be looking for sales and this thing tells us buy, right? And then you're like, oh, wait, you get into a buy, you end up getting stopped out and you say, should have just stuck with my sell. So you can turn off the buy and sell signals if you want. You can turn off the lower low or the high low areas. Let's see. So here are the filters. Again, ADX filter again filters out high volatility periods, so you won't get signals that fall into highly volatile periods. You have the squeeze filter. We already talked about what the squeeze. So the squeeze filter is based off of the Bollinger Bands. So let me just if we just show the Bollinger Bands here, we'll see where price has been squeezing for you. And let me turn on the indicator. So you can see, right? Price is just squeezing. No, that's a Bollinger Band. Let me turn on just the squeeze area. So turn off Bollinger Bands. So the squeeze area. So squeeze area ideally is short for consolidation or ranging. So you can see that price has just been ranging here. So actually, if we had this, and I always use a squeeze filter for these indicators, because when price was squeezing here, when we had the sell or buy signal that showed up when we didn't have this filter, we would not have gotten an alert for US30 buy or sell. We could not have gotten that alert in these two candles. So that is why I use a squeeze filter. Super trend, this would only give you signals during a high trend. So either a high uptrend. So if I want to turn on the trend right here, there's a trend. So this tells me this is a bullish trend. So this is what you want to see during trend. You want to see like a good move up or a good move to the downside. You don't want to see, even though here we're just consolidating, even though it's still, the trend is still green, you can see that the trend started moving horizontally. So for trend, you want to see either a strong diagonal uptrend or a strong diagonal downtrend for it to be established, or for you as a person to know that this is a strong uptrend or strong downtrend. So you can filter out so that buy and sell signals only show up during a super trend. I like using the super trend actually. Moving average is the same as what we had. This one right here. Do you guys have access to this one that says EMA 200? I think I published the wrong one because we definitely had. Do you guys have this option EMA 200 on yours?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I had asked my coder to remove this and he did. So I will republish this trend. It's just gonna get rid of the EMA 200 because this is not supposed to be there. But it doesn't affect anything because for me, I don't use the 200 EMA, but just ignore this for now. Yeah, I'll publish a new one and give you guys access. But it doesn't change anything. You can still use it the way it is. Yeah, because the two changes I'd requested was this and this. Yeah, so that's how the moving average, this moving average filter would be applied if you set your moving average here. So if you want to do the 9 EMA, your signals would be based off of where price is closing. So you'd get a buy when price is closing above, you'd get a sell when price is below, then whatever moving average. So in short, that is how these indicators work. I recommend at the very least using the squeeze filter. The super trend filter is pretty good. It will get rid of a lot of noise because sometimes you'll get so let's see, like if we take out even the squeeze filter, so that one question somebody had for why did we get a buy and sell like within a 10-minute period. So let's see, we have the super trend filter on right now. If we go to that period, we'll only have one signal. There you go. We only have a buy signal. We wouldn't have had a sell signal because the trend was to the upside. So what the super trend filter did here is that it showed us, even though here we have a sell signal, the trend for us, the trend here was still to the upside. So that's why the buy signal was given credence or importance. Yeah, but again, no signal is 100% accurate. Now, if you use these signals and couple them up with our entries, there is no reason you shouldn't be making a killing, especially if you're funded. Easy 200 bucks a day, easy 500 bucks a day. Like when I sent you guys my profits from yesterday, just from two signals, like literally the first two signals after market open, I was already up like what was that, 0.25% for the day. So these signals, do not use them as the holy grail. Use them to tell you, like a traffic cop, right? Let them tell you where price is likely to go and on what time frame, and then come back to the charts and then wait for a confluence and enter, set and forget. And when I send these signals in, or when my AI sends them in, they come in with a time frame. This is something I was trying to do because I'm trying to have this come in two lines, like gold buy 5 minute, and then the second line would have 50-50 take profit and stop loss, but I'll deal with that later. It's just a coding issue. So it comes with the asset. It gives you a buy or sell signal. It comes with a time frame. It comes with a take profit and stop loss in pips. So yeah, I think I've done like a lot, and there's no reason nobody should be making any losses consistently in this group whatsoever. But anyway, so today it's almost 11. I stopped live streaming at 11. We took one trade for US30, a win. We took a for 0.25% return. We took another trade, a win also. Currently at break even, I secured 50% at around here. So secured 50%. So ideally you should be up for the day what was that? 0.5% for the day. If you took the trades I took today. Is it 0.5? Something of the sort. Yeah, 0.5 or 0.375 for the day. This trade is still running. I'll let it run. Now here's where you need to ask yourself, right? If you're still holding this trade, So remember, for my trades, especially US 30. So how do I do US 30 trades? For this trade, I went actually with a double stop loss and double take profit. So normally my trades for US 30 are 50-50. 50 pips take profit, 50 pips stop loss, right? So let me just go. And the reason we could have had instant take profit for that one if we just went for 50, but I know that this trend line has not been touched. There's a possibility it can be touched here, but we don't know that, right? So that's why for this one, I took a bigger stop loss. But for my trades, US 30 and ideally gold, because normally for when we trade EU, we normally get like instant take profit, because EU is 20 pips take profit, 20 pips stop loss. For US 30 and gold, if you're 20 pips in profit, set break even. If you're 20 pips in profit for my US 30 trades, set break even. Normally we don't have trades, we don't have that many trades coming back to hit break even, but hit set break even. So for this trade, since we went double what we normally do, you should have set break even at 40 pips. So this trade should have been break even at 40 pips in profit. So at 460 right here should have been break even. So for this trade, if you just use our normal strategies of getting in and getting out, this trade should be out at break even. But personally, what I did to even reduce risk, I secured 50% of this trade at this zone, at around where I should have set break even. So right now I'm only risking 0.25% for the day. So for this trade, if you're still in and you did not set break even, you did not take whatever percentage off when price was around here. And I did say that price is coming to a bullish zone, 30-minute and 15-minute bullish zones. You need to reconsider your trade management, our risk management, because I did say that price hasn't retested this trend line yet. Price is coming to this bullish zone. And I did say that personally, I am securing 50% here. And remember, the trades I'm taking on the live are the trades that are going to count as daily, weekly, and monthly returns. So for you, if you did not secure at break even or take some off, you need to, I mean, if it works out for you, well and good, but you need to reconsider how you trade. Does anybody have any question? We have 3 minutes before the live session is over.
Yeah, so with those signals, I know you said it's a lagging. So is it like for instance, on the 5 minute, it shows up, and then is it corresponding to the chart, meaning it's a 5 minute lagging, or is it instant when it comes to pricing with the broker?
Lagging. I don't know if I use the term lagging for the signal. 'Cause I've used lagging for the trend lines, for the lower high and high low. So these zones are the lagging ones. Yeah. So what I meant, so I think near similar to, I think, where you're going, is that, so if you get okay, let me try and get a signal. I don't know what this is set to. So no filters. Okay. No big deal. Let me try and get something. Okay, so this is what I mean here. So I didn't say lagging on this particular indicator, but so entry, let me give it more entry. So we have a sell signal here for US 30, right? It lines up with our sell bias for US 30. But when the signal fires, in theory, if you're in front of the computer, you'd sell by impulse right there, right? Or if you have a trade copier or something that trades, so there are apps that copy trading view signals directly to your MT4. I used to have, well, not mine, but I used to use one. I don't know. If I search for it, I can find it. But ideally, if you're copying trading view signal, or if you're copying our signals in here, because depending on how you guys copy signals, I can also create, because some people use Telegram, others use what is it, Discord. So if you guys want a Telegram, I can create that. But ideally, for those people who copy signals, guess what they would have done here? When they got this US 30 sell here, they would have entered on impulse, right? Sure, this thing would have gone straight into profit. But if you're in front of the charts, you want to wait for the retest of the 9 EMA based on our strategies. Now, for the signals, you don't have to wait for closure above or below. You don't have to wait for retest of the trend line or whatnot. If you get a sell signal or a buy signal and it aligns with the direction we've discussed that the trades are likely to go, wait for price to retest the 9 EMA either for a buy and sell, and go ahead and sell or buy on impulse. That way you get a better trade entry, because here, right? I mean, this trade worked out for both of those two people, right? But I think there's a trade we tried here, right? Perfect example, the sell. This one you would have gotten taken out at stop loss instantly, right? Because you got a sell signal from this candle. You sold on impulse, only caught like 1 or 2 pips profit. The next candle reversed heavily up, took you out in stop loss. But if you waited for the perfect retest of the 9 EMA, you don't have to wait for closure above or closure below for this particular indicator strategy for entry. This one too, you'd have gotten stopped out. But if you're in front of the charts, you would have seen that we have what is this? A higher high, I think. So in theory, you could have put your stop loss above the previous swing high. So what I mean, ideally, when you get this signal and you go in front of the charts, just breathe and use our confluences and you'll see where you need to put your stop loss. So for this one, sure, if you just went with a 50 pip stop loss that comes with the signal, you'd have gotten stopped out. But if you're here and saw that we have a higher high, and you go on the 1 minute and find a trend line that's holding, instead of going for 50 pips, risk the same amount, go for maybe 70 pips stop loss, or a stop loss that's above the previous structure, which is the higher high right there. You would have survived this trade. And then when price came back down into below the trend line, you can scale in for a bigger position and ride that all the way down. So as much as signals are good, they cannot give you that human interpretation of where a higher high is, where the trend line is. I wish I could create it. I'll try and see if my coder can do that, but yeah. But again, here, my goal is to just give you guys something you can use on the side. Did I answer your question for the entry for the signals?
Yep. And then yeah, I got another question. So with the 9 EMA, if we're going to put that on our MT4, we're going to use the smooth, right?
If you're gonna put it on your MT4, like on the phone, or
No.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah. Personally, I do not have it, but no, just use EMA.
Okay.
Do you have EMA? Because I think, because on my phone, I definitely have the exponential. So even on MT4, you should, if it's a desktop MT4, you should have the exponential. This was a perfect place to scale in. But for me, I'm just gonna hold. I'm not gonna be greedy for this trade. But you see opportunities. Oh, there we go. Do you guys see that? What did I say? If this candle closes below, if the hourly candle closed below the 9 EMA, we needed a retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly. There you go. The retest of the 9 EMA aligned with the retest of the 9 EMA on the 5 minute and also on the hourly. This would have, honestly, if I had seen this, I would have entered this even with a 50 lot and then got out of this position. Yeah. I think I'll be setting, I might need to set, or you guys need to, when I talk about the hourly candle closing below or above, just remind me when it's like 1 minute to the hourly close so that we can be on the lookout for it. Because this one, we could have even got in with a 1% risk and caught like 10 or 20 pips and be done for the day even quicker. But yeah, this is a perfect. I mean, this just shows me, even though it's a trade loss, it just shows us that our analysis is perfect, right? Because on the hourly, I said we need to watch how the hourly candle closes. And if the hourly candle closed below the 9 EMA, we needed a retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly for a nice sell. But right now, this trade, I'm going to hold it. I'm almost sure that this trade is going to go straight to take profit. The only thing holding it up is this 30-minute and 15-minute bullish highs and lows. But you know, they're just lower time frame areas. So we should be golden for this sell. I hope you guys made profits today. So in this Discord, so keep in mind this, the indicators on trial, ideally this whole week. So play around with them, even just by visually backtesting them, you can make a ton of money. So Every day I do send my chart markups on indices, commodities, and Forex majors. We do have a new signals page right here. I'll change the code a little bit so that to break a new line, and we do get 2 lines per signal. So that way you can be able to distinguish the take profit and stop loss pips. We do have, I haven't seen anybody posting the trade ideas. So here you can post your own trade ideas. So these are not my trade ideas. So if you have a possible trade idea on Bitcoin, USD, or whatever, on US30, you can post it here as a chart and just see how it plays out and share with other people. If you have any results that you want to share with the team, you can post them in here. I'm proud of this guy, Livy. Like right, it looks like he's trading with an EA, but this is all the strategies that we've been going over. So what I like about him, he has taken the strategies that we go over. He's drawn lines on MT4 and does not delete them, trades off of trend lines, trades off of confluences, and look at that, easy money. So don't be afraid. Just focus. Based on our back testing, we have a lot of wins. We don't win every time, but we have good quality trades. When something lines up with our confluences, let us take the trades. If we get stopped out, let us try and figure out why did we get stopped out. If the trade made sense, we'll be like, okay, it happens, right? You can't win every time. If we find out that we got stopped out of a trade we FOMO'd in, we are going to be like, okay, next time we're not going to do this. If we win a trade that we FOMO'd in, we are not going to count that trade as a win, as an official win, because again, we are in here, we don't FOMO. Does anybody have any final questions before I end the stream?
Yeah, you know the 30-minute bullish high, and you know how you have this zone, are you in blue on the right? On the right. How did you get that? Is that
So,
like an indicator?
no, it's not an indicator. It's this is drawing what are they called? Order blocks. Yeah. So you can use an indicator. For me personally, I draw them manually. So I start all the way from the weekly down to the 15-minute. I draw them manually. It's better to learn how to draw them manually. You can use the smart money concept indicator by Luxalgo. So what you do, if you turn it on, it will show you these zones, right? So if we go to the 30-minute, I've found that some of the markups are near to what I have, but you see right now we're on the 30-minute. So right here, if this was the 30-minute, if you're using the Luxalgo, but definitely don't just use it unless you just don't have time to trade or to do the markups. Here you can do 30-minute bullish high. So 30 bull high. And then the low would be the low of that zone, right? So the low, so you can see like for this particular indicator, it lines up perfectly with my markups, right? But not every day will they line up like that, right? Sometimes you will have my 30-minute bullish high is here, the 30-minute bullish low is here. But this is the only indicator that I've found that is close to what I mark up manually. And keep in mind, ideally it's nearly the same thing, because this zones are order blocks, and it's zones where big money banks, funds put in buy and sell orders. But if you see here, I'm pretty sure in the 30-minute, let me get rid of my drawings. There we go. You can see here if you're just using this particular chart, you would have a 30-minute bullish high here, 30-minute bullish low here, 30-minute bullish high here, 30-minute bullish low here, right? But on my charts, I only have one bullish high and one bullish low, one bearish high, one bearish low per time frame. So in a 30-minute time frame, or in whatever time frame. So for example, in a 30-minute time frame, I would not have a 30-minute bullish high here and 30-minute bullish low here, and another 30-minute here, low here, and another high low here. But if you're using now, the nearest way to do that, based on how I do my own markups manually, mark up the bullish and bearish. If you're using this particular indicator to do your markups, mark up the high and low areas that are closest to price, if that makes sense. So here you'd have only for the 30 minutes, you'd have only marked up one 30-minute bullish high here and this low here. You wouldn't have marked up this one because price is so far away from here. For the bearish zone, so you have two bearish zones here that are close to each other. Honestly, I would have just used this one that's a bit higher. So yeah, but definitely I recommend you guys to learn how to do it manually. In case, who knows, maybe this indicator is going to go away one day. But yeah, you can use this indicator to come to mark up those zones. It's not always gonna be similar to what I have, but you're gonna be close enough. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, and one last thing, you know the 9, when you said what's it called? Yeah, so the 9 EMA,
Mhm.
you know on the MT4, the 9 EMA, it just comes at moving average exponential. So that's the same thing, isn't it? As the 9 EMA.
Yes, I don't use it on MT4, but yes, because even here, actually, the indicator we are using, when you search for EMA, you get moving average exponential, because this is what I use. So yes, I guess it's the moving average exponential, even on MT4. Yeah.
And the 200 EMA, what's that?
200 EMA, what do you mean? What's that?
Like, you know, like how you have it on the chart over here.
Ye-
What does that mean? Like, you know, when you said the 9 EMA, when
Mhm,
it crosses over the 200 EMA,
mhm,
that's a golden cross, isn't it?
correct.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like, what is that?
So
Like, what does it show?
Golden cross means bullish environment. So like, for example, here we go on the 5 minute, we just look for a golden cross. So death cross means bearish momentum coming in. Golden cross means bullish momentum coming in. So let's find, did I turn it off? Oh yeah, I turned it off. So 200 DMA. So let's find where these two levels have crossed. So right here, US 30, and this happened on Friday. I think we missed, this is when we got that bullish hammer candle that we missed. So here, on the 5 minute, you have the 9 EMA. For me, the 9 EMA is blue, the 200 is orange. So there's two ways you can use them. So whenever price is both above the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA, that's another sign that we are in a bullish environment. When price is below both the 9 EMA and 200, it means that we are in a heavily bearish environment. When price is between the 9 and the 200, it means we are ideally neutral-ish. But okay, so golden cross right here, 9 EMA crosses 200 to the top side. So whenever this happens, expect a spike in liquidity. So for me, how I trade these zones, when I see this form, I either wait, if I don't get an early entry, like if I saw when this was forming and I got a possible buy, I would get in a buy early. But if I didn't have any buy, I would wait for these two to cross, and then I would wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. And ideally, if I'm here trading with a heavy stop loss, a heavy lot size, my stop loss would be like below the 200 EMA, because you expect the 200 EMA to hold price up in case the 9 EMA doesn't hold price up. So for this one, I remember this was Friday and we missed that trade. We got a bullish hammer candle, this one right here. So this one, that a perfect trade here would have been this buy right here. I don't know if that's gonna, of course it's gonna open as a sell. So you just, if you haven't gotten an entry to right price up, wait for the retest of the 9 EMA, wait for price to close above the 9 EMA. So price retested the 9 EMA, closed above, enter a buy right there. Our profit is like 50 pips. You can go for 100 if you want. There you go, full TP on that trade. Same thing with the death cross, right? Death cross happened here. Death cross happened here. You can enter on impulse, but because it's a lagging indicator, this one doesn't have entry on impulse. So this particular entry right here for a sell, this is a death cross, 9 EMA crossing 200 to the bottom, wait for retest of 9 EMA. So you enter here, right? So always remember, price is more than likely always going to retest the 9 EMA for any entry that we make, right? So if you just waited, enter a sell right there, go for 50, right? If you want to go for a heavy lot size, put your stop loss. So this stop loss would have been a bit high. So let me show you guys how you can go heavy, and you can easily pass a challenge, but I don't recommend over leveraging. So for this particular trade, let's see the distance. This distance is 0.6. This is only a 16 pip zone. So this one, if I was to go heavy on it, even a 50 lot or 100 lot, I enter my for this one, for that particular one, I wouldn't have waited for a closure. I would have waited for a retest of the 9 EMA. So for this one, for some of these trades, if I'm going heavy on them, I'm not going to wait for a closure above. I'm going to enter on impulse because I know the golden cross has already been formed. And based on back testing, the probability is that price is going to go up. So for this one, if I'm going for, let's say, a 50 lot, go for 30 pips, take profit, go for 20 pips stop loss. No, did I do that? No, 20 pips stop loss. So if I lost this trade with like a 50 lot, that's only like 1K. If I gain 1500, right? Retested, try to come back below, but guess what? The 9 EMA is protecting me. So my stop loss is below the 9 EMA. Price tries to break below the, I'm sorry, the 200 EMA is protecting me. Price tries to break below the 200 EMA. So here I've been drawdown a little bit heavy, right? Maybe 750 or 1000 or 1500. No, like 750. Price tries to break below the 200 EMA. Guess what? It gets rejected to the upside. I hit take profit. So that's how you can trade. So these golden crosses and death crosses, you can use heavier lot sizes and put your stop loss either above or below the 200 EMA, because the 200 EMA is always going to be either above or below a death cross or golden cross. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. If anybody is still in these trades, you guys have nerves or guts, but you can see a death cross is coming in. So personally, I'm still going to hold it. I may scale in if we do get another good sell, but you can see a death cross is coming in, but you guys just have a lot of patience if you're still in this trade. Anyway, I hope you guys made a lot of money today, a lot of profits. I definitely have a good return for the day. I will post those results. Feel free to post your results. Unless anybody has any other question, I will see you guys here tomorrow, same time.
I want to thank you, sir, for your information, and it's really helpful for us, for new people.
Thank you. And this week I forget who asked me the question. I think it was, I forget the name. I will make videos of my strategies so that we can post them. And then if anybody just wants to revisit them over and over, you can just have somewhere to reference and just see how do we enter trades, what's a golden cross, what entries are we looking, how are we drawing trend lines, how are we marking up order blocks. I will do those videos this week. I've given myself a deadline of this week. So Monday, April 4th or April 3rd, you guys should have access to all those videos of the strategies. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, thanks.
Mhm.